Hi, everybody. Checking my timer here. There we go. Can't see it in the light. It's Dr. Gemma, and I'm a little shaggy today because I'm at home. But I wanted to continue the series about improving your sleep, that is, establishing good habits that will help you to sleep. You can see there's a lot of stuff to say here. This is part 3. So I'm just going to leap right into it. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't think this particular set has a lot to do with something physical, but I'm just going to say it. You should consult with your medical doctor about any of these things that you have concerns about, because I'm a psychologist, so I can tell you things, strategies that work. But in terms of how they will physically affect you, talk to your medical doctor if you have any concerns, okay? And do feel free to show her or him anything I'm posting here. I'd be very happy for them to know about this and to help you with it. Okay, so here we are in part 3. Now we're talking about habits you need to support good sleep. I want to point out some of these have overlap if you're not sleeping well now and you want something to use in the moment. But mostly I'm trying to talk about longer term behaviors that even if you're sleeping well will help you to maintain that, or even if your sleep is not a disaster, will help you to maintain it. Okay, so here we go, part 3. First of all, exercise. I've already said exercise is one of the most important things you can do to regulate your sleep. That sleep, exercise, and eating are kind of this circle that work together to all reinforce each other and to reinforce sleep. Now, when you exercise, you do raise your energy level and you do burn sugar. And all of this stimulates you. So after you exercise, usually you're not hungry for about an hour, but also you will be wide awake for quite a while, depending on your individual physical condition. So we tell people that if you can, please exercise before 12 noon, because we want to make sure that you don't raise your metabolism to a point where you can't settle down to sleep, and that you don't mess with your cortisol levels to a point where you can't drop your cortisol low enough in the evening to fall asleep. Now, having said that, a lot of you are like, well, that does it. I can't exercise before 12 noon, not going to exercise. Wrong. Any exercise is better than no exercise. There are nights during the week where I will exercise later in the evening if I have to. It is really important that you talk to your doctor about how much exercise you can do. If you're healthy, though, I mean, the AMA, as far as I'm concerned, their guidelines are kind of wimpy. And even they say half an hour walking every day. But remember, the AMA, when they say that, that's an average that includes if you're 90 years old, okay? So please talk to your doctor about it. But I'm 59 and I run a mile a day. Come on, kids. I'm not that athletic. And that takes me, it doesn't take me half an hour, but I will make it into a half-hour session where about 10 minutes of it are me having a good lope down the road. Okay, so please, you have to exercise. When I say exercise daily, I know that means that you won't, and you'll be lucky if you get in 5 days a week. But if you're exercising 5 days a week, congratulations, that puts you ahead of most of America, and it will help you sleep. Second, now we're talking about things about bedtime and all that. Don't nap. Don't nap. Now, there's been a lot of controversy over napping. And again, this, if you're a different age, if you have a disability, something like that, this is something to discuss with your doctor. But if you are having problems sleeping, what we find, at least as a psychological strategy, is sort out your night sleep. Okay, if you nap during the day, you may not need or want or be able to take as much sleep at night. Now, there are obviously situations where I'll say nap when you can. Having just been through a local school shooting, I can tell you those people aren't sleeping, those survivors. And in their situation, I'd be like, yeah, anytime you can sleep, sleep, because they're having real problems with that. So, there are exceptions to this. But if you are a healthy person with no severe trauma going on and you're having sleep issues, I would tell you, you want to work on getting those 8 hours at night more than anything else. And if you're napping during the day, that will interfere. So if you're working on the 8 hours at night, don't nap. Okay, again, if you need to review this with your doctor, if your doctor has told you to nap, your medical doctor, nap, all right? But, for those in the healthy middle ground, I'm saying you really want to avoid nap so that you sleep at night. Next, your bed has to be your sleeping paradise. And without realizing it, we often train ourselves, everybody grin, to do other things in bed and to see our bed as a place where we don't necessarily sleep. All right, so this is difficult for all of us adults in good relationships, but if you're having problems sleeping, you must train the dumb dog part of your brain back here to do nothing in your bed but sleep. For those of you in intimate relationships, this is a call to explore other options for romance in other locations around the house, okay? But if you're having problems sleeping, when you get into the bed, you want to start signaling your body that there's only one thing we do in the bed and we should do it right now. Again, that's how you train the dumb part of the brain that controls sleep. The part that is just basically a stupid dog that needs a lot and a lot and a lot of behavioral training, okay? So use your bed only for sleep, which leads kind of naturally into the next suggestions. You're not using your bed for playing on your computer, reading books, watching TV. But of all of those, especially get all computer screens, phone screens, TV screens, because they're all now pretty much the same technology. Get them out of the room. You don't want to try to sleep when you're looking at those things. You must get them out of the room, okay? That they are now engineered to keep you awake. And that's not necessarily an evil or a bad thing. Remember that a lot of people, when they're engineering these screens, they're thinking, oh, well, you're talking to your loved one on the phone, or you're working on your computer at work, so you want to stay awake. So those screens, including the one I'm looking into right now, are engineered to keep you awake, okay? They're meant to do it. So if you're using them in your bedroom at night, you're keeping yourself awake. And that leads to the last of this bunch of strategies, which is turn off all these screens in any room at least 1 hour before you want to sleep. So, and that's always been a big one anyway, for a number of reasons. I mean, what I just said is true. The screens keep you awake. They are engineered to keep you awake. They should not be in your bedroom, but also you must turn them off an hour before you go to sleep, and that leads to the second logic, because your brain needs to wind down. And people do not realize how critical this is. You cannot go from wide awake to sound asleep. Your brain passes through several stages of consciousness. You need to wind your brain down to go to sleep. So turn off the screens. And more importantly, what are you going to do for that last hour? For heaven's sake, give your kids a hot bath. It'll make you sleepy too, because the heat in your arms will, if you're bathing your kids. Do story time with your kids. Lie in bed and do what the Romans used to call pillow talk with your spouse or your loved one. Lie in bed and talk about how your day went. This is an opportunity to reconnect, and it's a beautiful thing. So I would tell you, just use that last hour to kick back and to relax and to lie in bed and to talk to someone you love. If you're going to knit, I have a friend who does that. That's brilliant. Do a repetitive thing. So nothing complicated, no really complex craft. But something simple like knitting, where you do a repetitive motion over again, is a great idea. Yoga, do a little, or stretches, do a few of those. A few yoga poses or a few stretches, which are basically the same thing. You can do that. You can meditate. And, with meditation, I don't even set a timer. I'll just empty my mind, and then I'm waking up in the morning, okay? But you need to do any of those. But for heaven's sake, turn off all the screens an hour before you go to bed. Give yourself a chance. In the background, you can hear something hiding that I'm not saying. So I'm going to add it in now since I have a lot of time left. That is, give yourself a good nightly pre-sleep routine. That is, if you develop a series of steps that you take in the same order with roughly the same timing, a routine, every night before you fall asleep, you will get to a place where that routine, even starting it, will signal you to sleep. So, for example, before I go to bed, I usually lie in bed and knit for a few minutes, and then I will get up, brush my teeth, use the restroom, kiss my spouse goodnight, and climb into bed, okay? And now I have found that basically if I sit in bed and knit, I fall asleep. I start doing this until I'll wake up with the knitting in my hands. So in other words, that routine will train you to go to sleep. Okay, and you want to do that with your kids, the same thing in the same order every night, and that will train them to go to sleep. So there we go. That's part 3 of Good Habits to Make You Go to Sleep. And again, don't hesitate to check in with your doctor for any of these if you have any questions. Okay, so there we go, everybody. I think that's part 3. There is a part 4. Can you believe this? So everybody stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.